Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. And ladies and gentlemen, what a night that we had here tonight. And we're going to start it off just like in what Smackdown did. And we started it off with to pay tribute and to honor one of the greats in WWE history, The Undertaker. The Undertaker, as many of you guys know, through his Last Ride documentary on the WWE Network, announced his retirement from WWE. And guys, his legendary, storied career has come to an end. Starting back in 1990 at the Survivor Series in Hartford, Connecticut, and consequently, his last appearance was at Wrestlemania in the Boneyard match, a victory over the phenomenal AJ Styles. And through it all, from 1990 here to 2020, the dead man has been taking souls and digging holes for a number of years and has proven to be, without a doubt, one of the greatest in World Wrestling Federation history, part of the Attitude Era, went through the Renaissance through being one of the vocal leaders of the Monday Night Wars, and of course was very instrumental in professional wrestling as we know it. Of course, we all know the legendary streak, the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania. How many times everybody thought that maybe it was going to be the year. When was Taker going to lose? And he always was able to revive it and continue the streak. Many people thought the streak was never going to end. Well, on a fateful night in New Orleans, Louisiana, the streak was broken when Brock Lesnar was the one to end the Undertaker streak, causing Taker to go 21-1. But through the next few WrestleManias, Taker only lost one other time. The other loss was to Roman Reigns. But with that said, Taker's record at WrestleMania is one for the record books. One that I don't think nobody will ever touch in the history of professional wrestling. For what he does for this industry, for all the titles that he won, and just for the legacy that he's left. And not only the legacy, but the impact of the creatures of the night, including one fellow creature with us tonight. And we'll get with him in just a minute. The Undertaker will last a lifetime. Many people didn't know if his career was going to be incredible or even legendary. But I will say this. With Taker leaving, with Taker saying goodbye, he certainly goes down as one of the most influential and powerful individuals we've ever seen in the world of professional wrestling. And as a matter of fact, you could even make an argument that he deserves to be in the Mount Rushmore of as one of the greatest of all time. We wish you nothing but the best, Taker. You are the best. You are an icon. You are a legend. Heroes can be remembered, but legends never die. The Undertaker is a legend and an icon. Good luck, my friend. Wish you nothing but best on your retirement. Anthony Floyo, come on in, my friend. It's all yours.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just say it like this. When it comes to Taker, you're talking about, the whole Mount Rushmore and all that. There's another place that Taker belongs. And Bullock and I have gone back and forth on this in a good way, I mean. We have said this many of times during our recent Raw and SmackDown chats, including tonight. Let's get a new hashtag going. Hashtag Taker for HOF 2021.
I agree. As a matter of fact, even though I know they have not officially enshrined the 2020 class yet, because as many of you guys know, the Hall of Fame class was postponed. I think if I was WWE, I would add on to the class. Make it a 2020/2021 class. Still keep the Bellas. Still keep Batista. Still keep Jushin Thunder Liger. British Bulldog was going to go in. He deserves to be in.
NWO.
NWO.
And JBL.
And JBL. They were the 2020 class. I think it's time that you even start adding the 2021 class, and right away, Taker is the first man that should be inducted for the 2021 class. Almost guaranteed he should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubts. He's in.
And should also be the headliner, too.
Agreed.
I mean, there's no one, there's no other star, no matter who else would go in. No one else would I mean, Taker alone would sell the tickets. I mean, wherever they end up having it, maybe the Staples Center. I don't know if knock on wood, everything, gets back to normal and this whole nightmare BS that we're going through and continue to go through today. If God forbid all this ends up ending, which we pray to God it does, and we can actually have some normalcy again, and we in WrestleMania 37 can go on as scheduled at the beautiful new SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. You could, or if it's still up, you could end up putting it in the Great Western Forum, maybe. But I don't know. That's a story for another day. But for right now, hashtag Taker for HOF 2021. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, like Triple H said about Ric Flair in 2008 when he inducted Ric Flair into the Hall of Fame. Whoever inducts him should say, here's a man who deserves his own wing, who not only deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but deserves his own wing. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Taker deserves his own wing. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've heard rumors about, there's a lot of names that could be, that could induct Taker into the Hall of Fame. The name at the top of my very list is Vince McMahon, like he did for Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2009. I wouldn't be surprised if Vinnie Mac himself inducts Taker into the Hall of Fame once that happens. But getting back to this, when you look at the situation that WWE is in right now, using the Boneyard match to fill the majority of the first hour of Friday Night SmackDown this evening was a smart decision. It serves as both a substitute for new matches and a commercial for the WWE Network. It was one of the most lauded matches from the pay-per-view and may end up being his final performance as a WWE superstar. So it was interesting to rewatch it knowing he may be done for good. And also the brief interviews with the legends and Hall of Famers between portions of the bout helped break up the action, but it also drew everything out to make it feel much longer. And, going into this show, Bullock and I were thinking, is this show going to be all about The Undertaker? Because there were some things that were scheduled to go down, but did not happen. We were supposed to have an Intercontinental Heavyweight title match with AJ Styles and Drew Gulak. That did not happen. We were supposed to have Sheamus's toast to Jeff Hardy. That did not happen. I can also confirm that's been pushed back to next week. But some new things came up, and we'll get into all that here this evening. But it was a nice gesture on the part of WWE there, showing that Boneyard match. That was amazing. So many great moments that Taker has given us from his 7 world championship victories. And all the classic matches he had with the likes of Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Edge and Bret Hart and Mankind and Kane and so many others, Stone Cold, The Rock. I mean, you name it. I mean, Kurt Angle, and just so many great moments. I mean, it would take you forever and a day to watch all Taker content on the WWE Network, whether it's his matches or his outstanding, and I mean outstanding, 5-part Last Ride documentary. I watched all 5 of them. I know Bullock watched all 5 of them. I'm not sure if MF has, but Bullock and I, we've seen all 5 of them. And man alive, I strongly recommend you go out of your way to see them because they were all great shows. And you not only got to see his storied career, but you also got to see his personal life as well with Michelle McCool and the whole 9 yards. And just awesome. But there's no question about it. We're not going to run down his resume, his list of accomplishments. I don't think we should do that until the day is the official day, where whether it's on Raw or SmackDown or whatever, when they announce that The Undertaker will officially take his rightful place into the WWE Hall of Fame. And we all agree that should be next year in 2021 as part of WrestleMania 37. So, but for right now, thank you, Taker. And, like we always say, thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. And thank you for The Undertaker. I don't think MF and I can do this moment justice. There's only one guy here, one man here who can do this moment justice. And that is, without question, The Undertaker's #1 fan, his biggest fan. And you want proof? There's proof right there. The proof's in the pudding right there, friends. Look at that shirt. I mean, that's a beauty. I mean, if this man had a bigger house, whether he was on his own or with his family or what have you, if he had a bigger house, he would have a man cave of all things Undertaker, because this guy has more Undertaker memorabilia than anybody I know. And that man is one Mr. Michael Bullock. We call him the Phenom. And he's gonna bring you that Phenom side right about now. So if there's one man who can do this moment justice, it's Michael Bullock. So Mr. Bullock, come on in. There's only one man who can do this moment justice, and that's you, my friend. So, Mr. Bullock, #1 Undertaker fan in the whole world, I give it all to you. The floor is yours. It's all yours, baby.
Thank you very much, Anthony Florio. What can you say about The Undertaker? I mean, when he first made his debut in November of 1990, we all didn't know what to expect from him. I mean, he came in and was member of Ted DiBiase's $1 Million team at the 1990 Survivor Series, and his first manager at the time was Brother Love. But to me, and I don't know, and I know both you, Florio, and you, Fletcher, are going to agree with me on this one. I think The Undertaker's career really skyrocketed when they put him with probably one of, if not the greatest managers of all time, Paul Bearer.
Amen.
Once they put him with them, the rest of, as they say, was history. And I loved all the old school promos with the Undertaker and Paul Bearer. You could definitely check them out on YouTube, and they were always legendary, to say the very least. And then 1 year later, he goes, at the very same event he debuted, he went on to beat Hulk Hogan to become the WWE champion. It's almost like all it took was 1 year, and then people all of a sudden were able to knew this guy was going to be something special, and that he was. And then, of course, let's not forget the very first WrestleMania. He went up against Superfly Jimmy Snuka. I mean, who knew at the time that it would be the start of what was known as the Streak? I mean, look at the list of names that The Undertaker has beaten at WrestleMania. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Jake the Snake Roberts, Giant Gonzalez, King Kong Bundy, Diesel, Psycho Sid when to become the WWE champion. He beat his brother Kane twice at WrestleManias 14 and 20. The Big Boss Man. Triple H, I think 3 times he faced him at WrestleMania. And I'll be quite honest, to me, I think the best out of the 3 was WrestleMania 27. Because, I mean, we all thought at the time the streak was going to come to an end. Oh yeah, that's right. To me, end of an era was, I stand corrected. Thank you for correcting me on that, Florio. Yeah, I mean, who can forget about that? I mean, yeah, the best was that end of an era Hell in a Cell match that they had. That was the best out of all the matches they had at WrestleMania. And then, of course, WrestleMania 18 is bout with the legendary Nature Boy Ric Flair. And WrestleMania 19, he was in a 2-on-1 handicap match against the A-Train and the Big Show. And then WrestleMania 21, sorry I have to bring this up to you, Fletch, because I know this is your man. He beat Randy Orton at WrestleMania 21 when it was the Legend versus the Legend Killer. He beat Mark Henry in a casket match. And then, of course, WrestleMania 23 against Batista. And then his bout with Edge. And then the last 2 WrestleManias. What else is there to be said? His bouts with Shawn Michaels. But the best out of those 2, WrestleMania 25. I mean, going into that WrestleMania, everybody was talking about, Triple H and Randy Orton. No, these 2 men stole the damn show. I mean, at that time, before the end of an era Hell in a Cell, all 3 of us agreed that this was the greatest match in WrestleMania history. I mean, not only was the crowd into it, but the commentators. I mean, JR, Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler. I mean, especially when Shawn kicked out of the tombstone and the quote that JR said, "I just had an out-of-body experience." I mean, and then, of course, he beat CM Punk at WrestleMania 29. And, of course, unfortunately, the streak came to an end at WrestleMania 30. Thanks to Brock Lesnar. But he did come back, win the next 2 WrestleManias against Bray Wyatt and, of course, Shane McMahon in Hell in a Cell. And then, of course, that short bout he had with John Cena at WrestleMania 34. And, of course, the year before that, he lost to Roman Reigns. And then, of course, what turned out to be his final match at WrestleMania 36 in that Boneyard match against AJ Styles. I mean, so many great battles he's had in his career. He's battled giants, legends, former world champions. I mean, the list goes on and on. And as you saw in that documentary, I mean, so many superstars have a lot of respect for The Undertaker. I mean, even the superstars of today were in awe of this legend, as you saw in the documentary as well. I mean, a fantastic career. I mean, he definitely belongs in the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. I mean, to me, and I'll be quite honest, he was the frontline soldier of WWE for so many years. And there was one time that, and let's not forget, guys, remember the night of the Montreal Screwjob? When, I mean, The Undertaker wasn't even scheduled for that, but he was backstage and he was pissed at Vince McMahon for what happened. And he marched into his office and he said, "You need to go explain yourself to Bret Hart." That, to me, is the true definition of a frontline soldier. Can we all agree on that? Florio?
Absolutely.
Total agreement, no doubts.
And in that interview he had with Peter Rosenberg, he even suggested that he wanted to be the one to face Bret Hart that night and win the title from him, and then eventually drop it to Shawn Michaels. That's how much he wanted to prevent all that mess from happening. But unfortunately, we all know what happened, so let's just leave it at that. So, but that just shows you what he meant to the company. He was indeed the leader of WWE for over 30 years. I mean, and that's why, in this documentary, not only you saw what he was behind the scenes, but in his personal life. And I think it all started when he was the first guest on that series on WWE Network, the Broken Skull Sessions, with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Who knew this was going to transpire to seeing a different side of the Undertaker? And here's the thing. Throughout his career, he was never known for revealing what goes on in his personal life. All it took was this year, and we saw a different side of the Undertaker that we'd never seen before. And this was probably, to me, that Last Ride documentary was probably one of the best I've seen on WWE Network. And I strongly suggest everybody who has the network to check it out. It's definitely worth it. So, what a remarkable career. No doubt. Some point, whether it's going to be next year, he's definitely going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And you guys said, with the class that's yet to be inducted, you could add The Undertaker to it and make him a true headliner. And like Florio said, a number of names come up that could induct him into the Hall of Fame. It could be Kane. It could be Vince McMahon. It could be Triple H. It could be Shawn Michaels. So many names that I can think of. So, here's another one that I think could possibly induct him. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but how about John Bradshaw Layfield? What do you guys think about that?
He's got history with him.
Let's not forget another thing, guys. The Undertaker was in JBL's wedding.
This is true.
So there's a little bit of a connection with the Undertaker and JBL. So that's just another name that I think you need to suggest. So whenever that happens, there's not going to be a dry eye in that audience. So, like Florio said, to the Undertaker, for a remarkable career, thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, and thank you to the Undertaker. Your career may be over, but your legacy will never die, and it will never rest in peace.
I was so waiting to hear those words. It had to come from you, Bullock. It would not have been justice if I did it. It would not have been justice if Anthony Florio would have done it. You're the one that's allowed to do that because you're the true Taker fan. So to hear those three words and you said it, that just made this night absolutely amazing. Thank you for that, Michael Bullock. But like we said, there was some SmackDown stuff after that. Some actual SmackDown stuff. We had Baron Corbin cutting a promo, Jeff Hardy as well. But that's going to lead to a fight later in the evening. Our first official match of the night was a fatal four-way. And the winner would receive a women's title match at Extreme Rules. And it was Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Lacey Evans, and Dana Brooke. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 5 minutes and 20 seconds was Nikki Cross. So Nikki is now the number one contender for the women's title. And I gotta say, this was a pretty good match. This was a decent match, a decent way to start the show. Nikki getting the opportunity. I'm so happy for Nikki Cross to get the opportunity at the SmackDown Women's title. Even though I think Bayley will successfully defend the title, but for Nikki to get a shot at the gold is a great story. And Bayley and Nikki has a pretty good accord with each other, a pretty decent rivalry. So I think this will be very interesting. As you know, Nikki has gone after Bayley and Sasha before, mainly for the women's tag team titles. Now it's for the singles title. I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I'll give this about maybe 2.25 stars. I thought this was a pretty good fight. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. 2 to 2.5 stars. I agree with the rating. It was a solid performance from the 4 women involved, but it didn't really have any of the excitement we usually expect from a Fatal 4-Way. The multi-person spots were kept to a minimum, so most of the spots we saw involved 2 to 3 people at the most. Nikki Cross getting the win was a nice surprise, but it also makes her upcoming title match against Bayley a little more predictable, if I'm being honest. Cross is great. She really is, but I'm sorry to say it, MF. It doesn't feel like WWE is pushing Nikki Cross as the next SmackDown Women's Champion. Instead, she is just another challenger of the month who will elevate Bayley in the end. So that's all I can really say about that. I mean, I'm not at all surprised to hear that MF is thrilled about it, because I know MF is very high on Nikki Cross. He's been high on Nikki Cross since her days in NXT when she was Insanity and, you know, the whole Twisted Sister of NXT thing. I know MF's been high on her since day one, and I know this is a big moment for MF. I know how much he's a big Nikki Cross fan, and yeah, she's going to get her opportunity for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I agree with you, MF. Bayley very likely will go over at what is now being called, and I'm not kidding you, another stupid tagline. I mean, you thought the greatest wrestling match ever was bad? They're calling Extreme Rules the horror show. Okay. I don't know what to make of that. I really don't. But I'm not really feeling that. But you know, that's also a story for another day. But then again, the reason why they're calling it that, I can certainly understand it. So that's all I can say there. So 2 to 2.25 stars. I agree with MF's rating. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Nikki Cross, she's getting the golden opportunity, but I'm sorry to say I'm afraid she's going to be another challenger of the month for Bayley. Sorry.
Yeah, another challenger, and just another flavor of the month for Bayley. So yeah, this was a nice match here. I'll give it about 2.25 as well. I mean, yeah, good for Nikki. I mean, that she's going to get this opportunity, but like you said, guys, it's unfortunately there's no way she's going to win it. I mean, it's going to be Bayley all the way. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, and then the next thing that we had on the show tonight was an 8-man tag team fight, and this was, oh my goodness. Okay, we had the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Big E, and we also had 2 members. Well, actually, it was Lucha House Party. It was Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik. They went up against The Miz, Morrison, Cesaro, and Nakamura. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 11 minutes and 10 seconds was the face team, as it was Gran Metalik, Lince Dorado, Kofi Kingston, Big E wins it. But the Lucha House Party gets the victory as Gran Metalik pinned The Miz. Well, color me surprised. Anthony Florio. The face team wins, but I think the bigger story is who won the fight.
Absolutely, the Lucha House Party. I mean, and the thing is, when it comes to the Lucha House Party, I mean, they're starting to get a push. I mean, these guys are benefiting. The thing is, some time ago, we had a tag team called the Forgotten Sons, but unfortunately, Jackson Riker offended and pissed off some of the suits in WWE with some rather derogatory comments about some of the current events in this world, and it's because of that unfortunately Forgotten Sons are being punished, unfortunately, and that's why the Lucha House Party is starting to get a little bit of a push here. And you know, if you push those guys as serious wrestlers and not the campy comedy nonsense that we've grown accustomed to from them over the last couple of years with Kalisto, I mean, those two could be future champions someday. But if I'm going to be honest here, to me, I got to consider this the fight of the night here. I'm going to give this about 3.25 stars. With the number of people who have been diagnosed with the coronavirus in WWE, the idea of having a match with this many guys in the ring at one time, I thought was a little odd, if I'm going to be honest with you. But putting that aside, this was a fun but predictable match. All 8 men are talented performers in different ways, but matches like this only have a couple of patterns they can follow to allow everyone to get some time in the ring. Lucha House Party has picked up a few good wins in recent weeks, so it looks like WWE may be preparing them for a future SmackDown tag team title run. I think they deserve a title shot at the very least. But then again, you got Cesaro and Nakamura in there. Who knows? This could lead to a possible 4-way at Extreme Rules, the horror show. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Lucha House Party can definitely make an argument that they should be in the running for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Right now, if we were doing rankings, that would have them at number 2, only behind Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, because Cesaro and Nakamura went over the New Day in a non-title match some time ago. Then you would have the Lucha House Party, and then right behind them, you would have the former champions, The Miz and John Morrison. So, you know, a lot to think about here, but this was the fight of the night, no doubt about it. This was 3 to 3.25 stars for me. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. We said it during our SmackDown chat this evening. Our boy, our favorite referee, Mr. Danilo Enfibio. Oh boy, he had a hard time controlling this one.
Yeah, Mr. Danilo Enfibio. Yeah, he had his work cut out for him trying to control these 8 individuals. So yeah, I'll give it about 3.25 as well. I mean, yeah, the Lucha House Party. I mean, they get the pinfall victory for the team here. So who knows? Maybe we need to start taking them seriously now. I mean, but as the old saying is, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, nice win for them, but I want to see more from them before we can start taking them seriously. So nice win for them, and yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, it was a nice win, like you guys said. I don't think there's anything negative we can go with this. This was pretty good. Really nothing more to add. So we're going to move right along. And what we had next was the Universal Champion Braun Strowman cutting a promo, interrupted by Bray Wyatt. And, well, we found out that it's going to be Bray Wyatt versus Strowman for the Universal title in, I guess, a swamp match. Braun? Bray? There is one thing that you should know. That swamp had alligators in them. So, fellas, and Flair, I know you're gonna love this because I know it. But, fellas, don't you wanna be with some alligators? Alright, so Michael Bullock, you lead off on this. It looks like Strowman and Wyatt are going to be mutton in some swamp.
And actually, but I just found out something interesting about the match for the Universal. But here's the thing, guys. I just found out that it's not for the Universal title. I seen it on their on the WWE app or the on their Instagram, and I was surprised to see that it's not for the Universal title. So, okay. I mean, I got a problem. I mean, if you're gonna have a match between these two, I mean, at least make it for the Universal title. I mean, I understand you don't want to do it because you're doing it in some kind of swamp match, but it's still a pay-per-view, for gosh sakes. I mean, you still gotta have the title on the line.
Well, no, wait, Bullock. Let me play devil's advocate. Maybe this is the way to get Wyatt that one more shot at the title. You give him the win here. That's a championship committee moment. You put the belt on the line at SummerSlam with the Fiend. I think this is logical booking. I think WWE is being very smart with this. I actually disagree with you, Michael Bullock.
I didn't even know about that. So we'll wait and see how it actually goes down. So if Wyatt gets the win here, then maybe, like you said, maybe it puts Wyatt back in the Universal title picture. Maybe still as the Bray Wyatt himself from the Wyatt family, or it could be the Fiend that could be ready to dethrone him. So who knows which face of Bray Wyatt we're gonna get if whenever the Universal title is going to be on the line. So yeah, folks, you've heard the three faces of Foley. Well, here you got the three faces of Wyatt. So nothing more to add. Fletch, it's yours.
This was a very weird storyline, and I think weird is nothing more or nothing new when it comes to the world of Bray Wyatt and his crew. So, am I shocked that they did this? No. Am I surprised that this is how it played out? No, not at all. I'm not gonna say that either. But am I happy that this is the way that it did turn? Absolutely. It makes sense. And I think that's the best way to do it. It makes sense at the moment because in one sense, this is the avenue you can go. This is an opening that Bray Wyatt can get that would make him a number one contender, that would give him an opportunity to fight for the title, and it would actually protect Strowman to take a loss here that would indeed open the door for Wyatt to get another opportunity at the gold. So do I think that it's a bad idea that they're doing it this way? Actually, no. And as a matter of fact, I will go as far to say that this is a brilliant idea by WWE because, for one, it protects Bray. Bray can get the win back. We get a championship committee moment again, and Bray can fight for the title this second time around. And the thing is that you protect Bray in a sense because that's exactly what you want. You want to protect them the best way you can, and I just don't see anything wrong with it at all. I think what they have done was I think they did the right thing by doing it this way. And plus, for me, getting to see the alligators, getting to see the swamp, getting to see all that stuff, I'm gonna say it, man. It actually gets me intrigued. And as a matter of fact, I actually like the storyline. I like where it's going because, like I said, it's gonna be very unpredictable. It's gonna be very interesting. And on top of that, I hope, and I truly believe this, that I think we're gonna get a major payoff at the end. So I'm happy with the outcome. Bray Wyatt does deserve the opportunity. And to see the three faces of Wyatt is awesome. But like I said, if you give Wyatt the win here, it makes it 1-1. You give us the rubber fight at SummerSlam. That's when the Fiend and Wyatt and Strowman goes one more time, but the Universal title will be on the line. As of now, Michael Bullock, I can confirm there is no title on the line at the moment. This is a brilliant move because it protects Braun from losing the belt. He doesn't need to win this match. At Extreme Rules, you can give Wyatt the win in the swamp, and that opens the door for the third and final fight to decide who becomes the Universal Champion. So it's logical booking, and I don't mind it. Anthony, it's yours.
Exactly right, MF. Exactly right. There's no doubt about it. I mean, but first off, all I can say is, man, MF. I mean, I always get the goosies every time I hear you do the your silly alligator song. I mean, I love when you do that. It's so funny. I mean, it's awesome.
It's so, part of the Target Hall of Fame with Derek and Michael Bullock.
It's also number. That's a number one hit. That's a smash hit. So that's all I can say there. As far as what happened here, I mean, getting back to serious business and all kidding aside, MF is exactly right. I mean, this is exactly where we're heading right now. I mean, we're heading. It's obvious that Bray is going to get the win here. I mean, now, especially now with the title not on the line, with this being a non-title match, yeah, it's got to be Wyatt, and we get the championship committee moment, and it'll set up for, the big money match of one of the big money matches of this summer, which would be Braun Strowman and the Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship in the SummerSlam, regardless of where it is, whether it's in Boston or not. I mean, there you have it. I mean, but all I can say is, if I could describe this segment in one word, for me, it would be cringeworthy, because, I kind of was cringing a little bit during this. I mean, Strowman's words were very, very eerie. I mean, with that promo he cut, I mean, it made you at times uncomfortable. And I think that's exactly what they're going for here. And I also sent you all in our wrestling forum messenger chat. I sent you all the dirt sheet that I came across earlier this evening about, the details about what this match is going to be. And they're also going to be going the cinematic route for this, which I'm not surprised. And, Wyatt, along with former Impact Wrestling producer and commentator Jeremy Borash. I mean, Borash is going to have his hands in this. There's no doubt about it. And but I'll tell you what, I applaud the attempt to bring some context to this return of the cult leader, and Strowman did what he could with the content, but it felt a little too much like community theater to me. It's a criticism that often arose of Wyatt's cult leader character. Strowman is not really a strong promo, and entrusting him to tell a story like this could have backfired, but it worked well enough. It does, however, seem to confirm that this will be an off-site cinematic match, which, without question, may be for the best. So there's no doubt about that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how this turns out come July 19th as part of Extreme Rules. And this is the reason why they're calling it the horror show, because of these guys right here. So I just hope this match will deliver, awful tagline aside. But then again, Edge and Randy Orton, look what they did. They were given the that equally awful greatest wrestling match ever tagline, and look what they did. So if Edge and Orton can do it, Strowman and Wyatt can as well. So the SMF, there's no doubt we're going to be seeing some data rolls and then some during this match. So really nothing more for me to say on this. Fine segment for what it was, even though it was cringe-worthy and uncomfortable at times. But that was maybe the most creepiest and eeriest promo I have ever heard from Braun Strowman. So, oof, I'm going to be having nightmares about this tonight. So there's no question about it. Nothing more to say. MF, let's move on.
Main event of the evening, Jeff Hardy going one-on-one with King Corbin. Jeff Hardy wins the match in 12 minutes and 10 seconds. Fight of the night by default. Solid main event. I think this was a good match. I actually cannot believe Jeff Hardy just helped Baron Corbin get Fight of the Night honors. What do you know? 3.5 stars is my rating for the match. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I was leaning more towards the 8-man for Fight of the Night. But then again, you can make an argument for this one too. This was definitely, I would have to say, about a 2.5 to 3 star match for my taste. Whether his haters, including myself and Michael Bullock, want to admit it or not, Corbin is a good wrestler. He does everything with a high level of precision and makes his opponents look good by selling their offense more than most men his size would. He is also a natural heel who can work with any babyface. He might not have the most exciting arsenal of moves, but you can always rely on him to hit everything safely. Having a bunch of superstars around the ring felt really random until the final few minutes revealed Corbin was getting the Eric Bischoff at ECW One Night Stand treatment, almost. But anyways, this was a decent main event, but nothing to write home about. What happened after it was over provided the most fun because Hardy, he invited the New Day into the ring. Big E hit a big ending on him. Then he invited the Universal Champion Braun Strowman, and Strowman gave him a power slam, and even MF's new boy, MF's new friend, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle even got a shot in. So yeah, very interesting there. So we were supposed to have Sheamus's toast to Hardy tonight, but with everything that's been going on, that's been pushed back to next week. So some early 4th of July fireworks, to say the very least, on that. So really nothing more for me to say. I disagree with you, MF, with all due respect. This was the second best fight of the night for me. 2.5 to 3. That's the best I can give it. I still think the 8-man was a little better. So that's just my thoughts. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the main event? I mean, King/Constable Bleepface got what he deserved. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. You want to mock the Undertaker? You want to disrespect the living legend and the future Hall of Famer? You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay for it, and that, my friend, is how you pay for it. Wham! Bullock go.
And he got his comeuppance. So, yeah, 2.5 to 3 for me is the rating on this match. I mean, yeah, it was a good match, no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, but I loved what happened at the end. I mean, obviously with the New Day and Strowman and Riddle getting their shots, and then of course the iconic moment where Jeff Hardy, in the end, paid tribute to the Undertaker by doing what the Undertaker would always do at the end of the match, and looking right at the Undertaker on the Titantron there. I mean, that was a nice touch there, and basically everybody around the ring saying thank you, Taker. I think that was a nice touch, a nice way to close the show. So 2.5 to 3 for me. Fletch, it's yours.
Time for overall reviews, guys. You know what? I'll lead off on this. This was an okay show. The in-ring stuff was fine. It was solid, but this whole night was meant for the Undertaker. The whole night was meant for him, to honor what was undoubtedly some of the greatest wrestling in his era. And I mean, from starting in 1990 to ending it in literally 2020. And I mean, think about that. That's almost 20 almost I mean 2000 2010 almost 30 years of service for his career. There's really nothing more that you can really add. I think we said it all at the beginning of the show about Undertaker. This was kind of more his night than a SmackDown show. Even though we did get some stuff, we did get we did see that Nikki Cross is going to be the new number one contender for the women's title. That's great. We get Wyatt versus Strowman in a swamp match. That's going to be interesting to say the very least. And there was a little storyline progression, but it wasn't really much in the way. Grand Metalik winning it for his team. That kind of opens the door for Lucha House Party maybe to get a shot at the tag team titles down the line. And then on top of that, with Jeff Hardy. But I kind of feel like the Hardy thing's kind of... I think the Hardy Corbin was probably a one-off. Just for tonight only. Unless maybe Sheamus, unless Corbin shows up at the Toast next week, then maybe we got a problem, but we'll wait and see what happens. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, it was an okay SmackDown. It was enjoyable, but like I said, this night wasn't about SmackDown. This night was about The Undertaker, and I think WWE did a very proper job of honoring one of their greats. So props to SmackDown, props to Fox for doing that, and for them to cater and to honor the first hour of the show to Undertaker, I thought was very fitting and well done. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Unfortunately, MF, I'm gonna have to be the spoiler here because I'm gonna have unfortunately a little bit of some constructive criticism about this show this evening. I'm sorry to say, but I will say this though: WWE was lucky to have the Undertaker fodder to fall back on tonight. This show tonight, I got to be honest, felt rushed, poorly written, and altogether in poor taste given recent developments. Despite now allowing crowd members to wear masks, very few opted to do so. Despite a clear discouragement of large gatherings, WWE opted to surround the ringside area with a good portion of the available locker room. Even after being caught red-handed, they continued to engage in unnecessary, risky behavior beyond what is required to produce a television show. And furthermore, they couldn't even be bothered to create a kayfabe reason to blowing up their own show at the last minute, instead pretending they simply announced nothing coming into tonight's show. Tonight, I got to be honest, I'm sorry to say this, but I got to be honest, I kind of felt tonight was a poor reflection on this company and an indication that they continue to not take this pandemic seriously enough. However, that was the constructive criticism, going after WWE for not taking, this whole thing seriously. Because, you had an 8-man tag for one, and then you had all the superstars outside the ring, during Hardy and Corbin. But, like MF just did, I'll do it as well. I will commend WWE, however, for the tribute, the overall presentation of the tribute to The Undertaker. I will give them credit for that, absolutely. No doubt about it. That was well done. I will definitely, and also a nice touch for us to relive the epic Boneyard match from WrestleMania that we all agree stole the dang show when it came to this WrestleMania, and it was fun to relive it, and even though it had commercial breaks, but for those of you who either missed it or just wanted to see it again, you got to see it tonight. So that's all there is to say on that. And if you really want to watch it, go on the network and go back to night one of WrestleMania, which this was, of course, the main event of night one of WrestleMania, and rightfully so. And it came out great then. It came out great tonight, and even with the commercials. But that's it. So what's next? I don't know, but I do know. But then again, maybe I'll save it if MF lets me set the table for Monday night, because we got something that's going to go down on Monday night that's going to be very interesting, to say the very least, and something I'm very intrigued to see. So that's all there is to say on this. So I don't think we should put a rating on this. I really don't. Because this was a rushed show. I mean, they taped it just earlier this afternoon. They had to cancel the Raw taping. They were going to do Raw today, but they canceled that and they pushed it back to tomorrow. I do hope everything goes on without a hitch. So that's all I can say on that. Well done as far as the Taker stuff goes, but as far as getting so many people together at one time, despite this nightmare that's been going on, I got to criticize for that. I'm sorry. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your final thoughts on this very rushed edition of SmackDown, even though your man, The Undertaker, got the respect he deserved.
Well, I'm going to say it was an all right show. I mean, I'm not going to say it was and the only reason why I'm saying it's an all right show, because it was all about The Undertaker. I mean, everything else, like you said, was rushed, but the only reason why I'm saying it's an okay show, because tonight was all about the honoring the legacy of the Undertaker. So, yeah, so that's all I'm going to say on it. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Alright guys, and like I said, I was gonna cover the New Japan Cup, and guys, here we go. So, with this said, let's move right along. Like I said, I had so many matches that I needed to get into. So, we started off with Hujiro Takahashi. He went up against Takachi. Takachi won the match. He moved on. Here it is, guys. The match that I was waiting for. Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Kota Ibushi advances. 15 minutes. 15 seconds. A great match, to say the very least. Sanada also moved on to the next round. So did Sho from Roppongi Vice. He also went. Yoshihashi also advances into round 2. And Bushi also. Evil and Goto also advances. Now going into round 2 of the tournament. We started off with Makabe versus Ishii. Ishii advances to the quarterfinals. He will fight the winner of Toriano versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi wins the match via countout at 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Then we had Karushiko Okada versus Yuji Nagata. Okada advances, and in the final match of this round, or of this half of the bracket, it was Kamaru versus Taiji Ishimori, the Bone Soldier. Taiji Ishimori advances to the quarterfinals, and on July 1st, we will have Takashi versus Ibushi, Sanada versus Sho, Yoshihashi versus Bushi, and Evil versus Goto. And listen to the quarterfinal already set. This has been set and this is going to happen on July 2. We got Tomohiro Ishii versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, or I should say, Hujiro Takahashi, and we got Taiji Ishimori, the Bone Soldier, versus Kazuchika Okada. Oh my God! Ishimori versus Okada. This is okay. I thought Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kota Ibushi was going to be nuts. Ishimori versus Okada almost has the feeling of a possible 5-star classic. That's how crazy this match is going to be. I mean, I just don't know what is there what you can even say. I mean, with Time Bomb Hujiro Takahashi, and the one thing's for sure, Takahashi has made it very clear he wants to be the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion. He's a former member of LIJ. He's a former member of Los Ingobernables de Japón. So he was the right-hand man for the champion. He was the right-hand man of Naito, of Tetsuya Naito. These guys were more than friends. This was like a mentor and pupil. And then Takahashi got so jealous over the fact that, you know, that Naito got all the success and you dumped me when I broke my neck, and you literally grabbed a new guy to replace me in LIJ. Hujiro Takahashi has a grind axe, and he's going through this New Japan Cup. And if he wins this all and gets the shot at Naito, oh my word. And I mean, Ishii is not a guy that you want to mess with. Ishii is a bull, man. This guy is a bad son of a you-know-what. And Taiji Ishimori versus Okada. Oh, man. This is going to get crazy. This is getting crazy, guys. I mean, that's how... this is going to be an insane tournament. But it's going to be good. I can't wait. So that's it. We're done. Again, next week will be... and then what we're going to do is, because the New Japan Cup continues, July 1st will be the second half of the second round. July 2's the quarterfinals. July 3rd is the semifinal. So when we come back next week, we will have the final set. And I'll tell you who is going to the finals of the New Japan Cup. And the finals will be held live on July 11th. And I think they said it's supposed to be in Yokohama, Japan. Well, I gotta double check that. I gotta know when the final is. I'll let you guys know, but I know it's supposed to be very soon. It's a Dominion event. So we'll find out where that's gonna be held. And the winner gets a shot at both the IWGP Intercontinental and IWGP Heavyweight titles. So, really nothing more to add. That's it. We're done for the night. On Monday night will be another edition of Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Floyo. We'll talk about Monday Night Raw, and then we got 205 Live, we got some Impact Wrestling, and we got a lot of news from Impact Wrestling. A lot of news broke within the last 48 hours that has shaped and changed the look of professional wrestling as we know it. So, guys, with that said, we're going to have a lot to talk about. So, as always, like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all social media platforms. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am good old MF Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much, everybody. So long for now, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye.